Today's Jeopardy episode has left fans astonished by a rare triple stumper that cost all three players a hefty amount of money during an incredibly difficult game. Contestant Mark Fitzpatrick returned to continue his winning streak after beating out promising season 41 star Ryan Mountain in a cutthroat trivia battle last Friday. The content manager from Connecticut garnered $30,401 on his dominant Jeopardy debut last week. In tonight's game, Mark went up against Daniel Gately, a teacher from Tucson, Arizona, and Amanda Prusela, a communications advisor from Ottawa, Ontario. Amanda was off to a strong start after finding and correctly guessing the first daily double on the board under the opera category. However, it was Mark who maintained the lead at the first break with $6,000. Amanda was in second place, securing $2,400 at the first quarter, while Daniel was in the red at $1,200. Under the category Spy Novels, Mark found the second daily double and made a risky wager as he had a nearly $10,000 lead. Goldfinger tells James Bond he calls his chauffeur this because that describes his functions on my staff. Host Ken Jennings read out. Mark correctly wrote "Who was Oddjob" and added an additional $5,000 to his prize pot. Daniel found the third daily double under the law category, however. He missed it and dropped his total by another $800. Going to the last round, Mark had $23,400 while Daniel's score was $4,200 and Amanda's dropped to $600. Host Ken revealed that the final Jeopardy category would be brand names as the three players made their wagers. In 1886, this brand's bookkeeper came up with its name and flowing script logo, saying the two C's would look well in advertising. Ken read, "What is Coca-Cola?" was correct, but despite being one of the most recognizable names in the world, all three players were wrong. Amanda bet everything, leaving her with $0 to end the game, while Daniel bet $0, leaving his final score at $4,200. Mark dropped $3,400 after the wrong guess to win his second game with an additional $20,000. Fans expressed they were astonished that the final Jeopardy stumped all three players. Duty as a POGOERAUS. Bit of a stunning triple miss on FJ. The only thing I can think of is eliminating Coca-Cola because it has three C's, but that doesn't hold up with the Coco Chanel guess. Either way, pretty dominant win for Mark. One viewer wrote, "I found this board incredibly difficult. Super niche categories. I'm loving Mark. The dude is a powerhouse with a great personality," another criticized. "I initially thought Coca-Cola, but the clue threw me off because I thought the correct answer could only have two C's," a third said of the final round. Last week, fans were shocked when rising star Ryan's winning streak came to an abrupt halt due to Mark's victorious debut. Viewers thought Ryan could pull off the rare move of winning 5 consecutive games on a single day of taping. However, he fell just short after losing Friday's episode by a significant margin. Ryan's advantage at the beginning was strong as Mark lost $2,400 on a true daily double where he went all in with his bet. Mark turned his luck around when he found the second daily double under the category US Museums, this time getting it right and adding $3,000 to his prize pot. With the help of his daily double bonuses, as well as making aggressive wagers throughout the game, Mark was in the lead heading into Final Jeopardy with a score of $23,400. Only Mark got the last question correct and ended the game with a one-day total of $30,401. Shocking many fans, Ryan was far behind with $9,999 and ended his Jeopardy run with 4 impressive games. Jeopardy fans were in for a shock when a recent episode featured an incredibly rare triple stumper that left all three contestants stumped and scratching their heads. With the game at a tense peak, Mark Fitzpatrick, the returning champion, managed to pull off an astonishing second win despite facing one of the toughest boards in recent memory. Social media lit up as fans weighed in on the moment, calling the episode a thrilling ride from start to finish and expressing their surprise over the difficulty of the questions. The game started out in typical Jeopardy fashion, with host Ken Jennings walking onto the stage and introducing the players. Mark Fitzpatrick, a software developer from Seattle, had earned his first win in the previous episode, coming from behind with an impressive Final Jeopardy response that had secured him the victory. His calm demeanor and quick recall had already made him a fan favorite, but today's game was a different beast altogether. The new contestants, a literature professor named Lisa and a journalist named Stephen, both had impressive resumes and seemed poised to give Mark a run for his money. As the first round began, it became clear that this would not be an easy board. The categories ranged from obscure historical figures to challenging science terms, with even the usually lighter pop culture questions stumping the contestants. Early on, Lisa managed to grab a few correct responses, gaining a modest lead, while Stephen struggled to find his rhythm. Mark, although slower to buzz in, showed flashes of brilliance when he did answer correctly, giving him enough momentum to stay competitive. By the time they reached the double Jeopardy round, the atmosphere in the studio had grown palpably tense. The board's difficulty seemed to increase exponentially, with a particular category, ancient philosophy, emerging as a real curveball. Contestants cautiously buzzed in, often second-guessing themselves and more than once, incorrectly responding. This led to a drop in scores across the board. As Ken Jennings humorously commented, "It seems like we've got a real thinker here," acknowledging the unusually high level of difficulty. It was during this round that the episode's most shocking moment occurred. The category was iconic architecture, and the $1,600 clue was revealed. This building in Barcelona, designed by a renowned architect, remains unfinished despite construction starting in 1882. A fairly niche question, but certainly not an impossible one. The camera panned to the contestants, and to everyone's surprise, none of them buzzed in. There was a long pause. Ken looked around expectantly, but no one moved. Finally, with a resigned tone, he said, "What is the Sagrada Familia?" The triple stumper had caught the contestants off guard, and when social media caught wind of the moment, Jeopardy fans were equally stunned. "I can't believe no one knew the Sagrada Familia," tweeted one fan, adding, "That's Jeopardy, 101. Others were more forgiving, recognizing the sheer difficulty of the entire game. "Tonight's episode was like an obstacle course," commented another viewer. "I'm just amazed anyone was able to get anything right with how tough those questions were." Despite the triple stumper, the game pressed on. Lisa had maintained her narrow lead, while Stephen managed to close the gap slightly. Mark, however, began to show his champion-caliber resilience. He methodically worked his way through the board, selecting clues he seemed most comfortable with, and slowly climbed back into contention. He even nailed a tough daily double on 19th-century American authors, which brought him within striking distance of Lisa. Heading into Final Jeopardy, the scores were incredibly close. Lisa had $14,200, Mark had $13,000, and Stephen was at $7,400. The category for Final Jeopardy was classical music, a topic that left the contestants visibly nervous. The clue: this composer's unfinished Eighth Symphony remains one of his most famous works. The 30-second timer began, and the contestants scribbled furiously, trying to recall the answer. Stephen, in third place, was revealed first. He had written, "Who is Beethoven?" but that was incorrect. His wager was modest, so he ended up with $4,800. Lisa, the leader, was revealed next. She had also guessed Beethoven, and she had wagered a significant amount, enough to drop her down to $7,000. Mark, looking calm as ever, revealed his response. "Who is Schubert?" Correct. His wager of $5,000 brought his total to $18,000, securing him the win for the second time in a row. The audience erupted in applause, and Mark smiled humbly as Ken Jennings congratulated him on his second victory. "That was a tough game," Ken said, shaking his head, "but you played it brilliantly." Mark's performance was even more remarkable given the difficulty of the board, and fans were quick to point this out online. "I thought Mark was done for after that triple stumper, but he pulled through," one fan posted. "That was a championship-level comeback." Others praised the overall quality of the episode, with some calling it one of the most entertaining in recent memory. "I love it when Jeopardy gets this intense," another tweet read. You could feel the tension. As Mark prepared to face his next set of challenges, the question on everyone's mind was whether he could keep up his winning streak. With 2 victories under his belt and a knack for remaining cool under pressure, he had the potential to become a serious contender in the game's ongoing season. Fans were already looking forward to seeing how far he could go, especially after such a nail-biting second win. As for the rare triple stumper, it became a moment that would be remembered in Jeopardy lore, a reminder that even the brightest minds can sometimes be thrown off by the unexpected.